Hey everybody, welcome to another episode here at Tribal Trades, the daily show. And today we're going to talk about the altcoin season indicator scam. We're going to talk about, will there be another altcoin season? And if there is, what could it possibly look like? We're also going to talk about a trade, a coin, 300% gain since I gave this trade. Where could it go next? We're going to talk about that and a whole bunch more. Before we do that, smash the like button. This does help get this channel out to more people, and of course does help support the channel. And if you're a new watcher of the channel, welcome. Smash that subscribe button, hit that bell notification, and you'll get the daily updates. So the altcoin indicator that I'm talking about here is this seems to be the universal one that people go to, and the indicator in itself is very misleading. And I'll tell you why, because every time they say it's alt season, it's not. Alt season is pretty much over. And here's the irony of it all. They could just actually fix this chart. This would be anytime it gets above 25%, generally it's time to buy altcoins and ride them up. And then this would be the time to sell alt season. So really at 75, it should say it's not alt season and it's time to go back into Bitcoin. And here it can be, it's time to rotate from Bitcoin into altcoins. So, and as you can see, if you go back in time on the time machine here, you can see every time it got up there, it was time to sell your altcoins, not be buying alt season and saying, oh, it's alt season, we're going to make 10x. No, you probably missed out. And let's talk about why your altcoins haven't really done a 10x, because there are now 100 million tokens on major crypto networks. 85 million of them, of course, call Solana home. Now let's just compare this to the last cycle where there were no more than 30,000 cryptos out there. Most of those were dead. 10,000 of those were listed on CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap. So 10,000 to 100 million. And we have the same amount of money available to buy, but it just can't be spread around. And so I do think only the strong will survive. Eventually, most of the tokens out there are going to go to zero. I think a lot of the tokens that just don't really have any utility, ghost chains, and no one's building on them, eventually are going to die off unless they can get some kind of traction or investment or some major developments that are going to create some interest in those tokens. And so that's why I'm in only around 3 or 4 cryptos. Of course, there are cryptos that I do jump into and jump out of as trades. And so we'll talk about altcoin and altcoin season and what a proper altcoin season might look like and what we might see in the future there. But so let's quickly go over. First of all, we're going to look at Bitcoin. I've got the altcoin that I want to share with you as well that did 300% here. But of course, Bitcoin has just taken a huge drop, as you can see, and we did get that red dot on the daily time frame, and it was when it lost the 9 EMA. That's the place to exit the position and get out of the trade, and now down it goes. Okay, and so that trade, now I gave that trade up to 117,000. That played out perfectly to 117,000, and then it's time to get out of that trade and make sure that you at least don't give up your profits. And worst case scenario, don't go into loss on any trades, particularly trades that you were up on. And so this here is a big red candle to the downside. We are finding some support at around about 112,000 there. And as you can see, that trade really did drop hard. And there was liquidation levels 114, 117. I did share on Saturday that I felt there would be pump there and both levels would get taken out, 117 and 114, and both levels did. After 117 got hit, 114 got hit, and actually we went a lot lower down to that 112 level. There is the 100 EMA on the daily there. It hasn't even touched it actually, so it's there as some support. People had buys before it there, but of course we don't want to see this drop too much lower. We're just going to quickly check on the weekly to see if we have any bearish reversal patterns on the weekly time frame there. and then look at some altcoins. It's not great that we've lost the 9 EMA on the weekly, but the one that we really do want to make sure we hold is that 20 EMA on the weekly. That's sitting at $109,000 there. There are some lower levels, but we'll just focus on these levels that we have at the moment, 111,935, and then it would be 109,886. So those are two levels there. And then, of course, to the upside now, that support is now resistance, of course, and the 9 EMA on the weekly is going to be providing that resistance at about 113,300. We've got the 50 EMA on the there as well, 114, and the 50-day moving average at 114, 115. So there's quite a lot there above at the moment, and of course right now the chart is looking a little bit bearish, but you can never really trust a weekend pump or a weekend dump. We really do have to wait till the stock market opens at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to ascertain if that is going to spill over into the stock market, and then we could see some more downside, and maybe we will see a little bit of a rectangular situation here, and currently it is positive. And when we have seen a green September, it has always been a green October. Okay, there you see September always been a green October there, and there's always been a green November as well there. Okay, and generally you've seen a green December as well, except for last year in 2024. So this is really key that we see this. Otherwise we could see a situation like that, and then we have that final push for Bitcoin, maybe put in a new all-time high. But I am still thinking the 4-year cycle is in play, and somewhere between October and November, December, that's where we see the top. I think if September is red, then it's possible that the top is going to come in somewhere in October or very early November there. If we do see a green September, I do think we see a green October, and then I do think the top will be a little bit here in November and December. We'll see how that all shakes out. So let's jump over to Bitcoin dominance, and this is really where you see true altcoin season indication. Really, when you see people rolling from Bitcoin, this is where the red arrow or the red dot comes in, and this is the time to be in altcoins and ride them all the way until you see that green dot reversal. We've almost got it there, and we may not get it. This might be a fake out. This might be just a weekend dump that gets reversed this week, and we'll see if that happens. But if we do get a green dot here, we usually see, look what happens whenever we get a green dot, huge move, rotation into Bitcoin, and we can expect those altcoins to drop a whole bunch more. Okay, so that's what we see with Bitcoin dominance chart. Bitcoin dominance is simply that people are selling off their altcoins into Bitcoin or into USDT there, and you can see the USDT. This is not going to be good because we have green dots and green arrows. We had a red arrow, green. This is very, very choppy here, and we do want to wait and see if this does start to move up through here and does finally bust through. It just hasn't been able to get above the 20 EMA on the weekly time frame. That's sitting at about 4.52%. Of course, we have the 50-week moving average at 4.63. If it was to get above those levels there, then that's going to get a bit scary, because then people are selling off into USDT, and that's the green dot or the green arrow is another sign to rotate out of altcoins into Bitcoin or into stable coins, USDT or USDC. And so that's another good thing to keep an eye on. And then, of course, there's total 2. And total 2, we don't have the red dot to confirm, but of course, this is the entire altcoin market. And you can see whenever you got the green dot or the green arrow, it was time to get into altcoins. And whenever you get the red dot or the red triangle, it's time to get out of altcoins. And of course, you can see on the daily time frame, we clearly had a double top, a little bit of a double top here. And this play might be over again. You have to take weekend trading with a grain of salt, because sometimes you don't always get an accurate view of the picture, because a lot of all the institutional money is waiting to the Monday to Friday markets, and we have the ETFs, etc. So it's very important just to understand that. And of course, we do go over the liquidation heat map, the follow the yellow brick road. We're off to see a wizard. the wonderful Wizard of Oz. And where's the liquidation? I think both these levels could get tagged today, down here at 111,586. And then up here at 113 to 114,000, it would make sense for the market makers to come and take both those levels today, and we could just see a little bit of choppiness. And you can zoom out even a little bit more to get a little bit more perspective of where, show me the money, as I would say. And if I'm the market maker, I come down to that 111,000 as we saw, and then I would look to take it back up. But I'm not the market maker, and I'm certainly not the market maker for the Asta token. And this coin took off like an absolute rocket ship here. And I did give this trade in the Tribal Trades Discord here in Crypto Plays. Here you can see I gave this trade a wonderful trade here of Asta at 64 cents. There at the current price of 64, and that went all the way up to $1.99. And we finally have a pretty decent pullback and create a more stronger fib range off the hour time frame. You could look at it on the 4-hour time frame as well. You can currently see it's at $1.53, and look at this, $1.44. What a great little entry that would be. Or on the 50 EMA on the 1 hour also could be an entry, and there was a green dot there to help signal the bottom of the move, and it's the potential bottom of the move. Of course, sometimes you get them there and it gets stopped at resistance. Yes, you still would have made a little bit of money to the upside. And then, of course, this one came in, and then you get the red dot, and that's your reversal in time to get out of the play or short the play. So if you were looking at getting this play, be very, very careful. This coin has gone up from 60 cents when I called it out all the way up to almost $2. Another great benefit. People made hundreds of dollars. I saw trades, thousands of dollars, as this coin just rocketed up over the weekend to incredible levels there. That was shared in the Tribal Trades Discord. There's a link below in the description of this video. So if you do want to sign up, there is a wait list there. You can get on for the Tribal Trades Discord. And there, so what we're seeing with levels at the moment is we're currently at 152. So where could trades be taken? At $1.55? Potentially any break and retest hold of that area. However, it does look like more like a bit of a dead cat bounce here. We went up parabolic, we came down, had this dead cat bounce, and have made a lower high. And so possibly also you've got the 9 EMA and the 20 EMA at $1.49. That could be a potential entry if that was to hold. Or move this level up here. That's the 9 EMA sitting at a 149, and then there's 144, and then 137. And of course, if we were to lose that 137 level, we could see quite a severe drop back around that 118, and then down to that $1 area there. So just be very, very careful with this token. Make sure you have a very strong stop loss strategy there, and also lock in your profit when your profits are there. No one ever lost money taking profits. I'm very much a see profit, take profit kind of trader, because those profits can otherwise evaporate there, and you don't want to see those profits evaporate. So that's the trade that I gave. There's some levels there to potentially get in, but again, be very, very careful with this token. It's already run up a ton. Easy, the former CEO of Binance, a big supporter of this token, and has tweeted or shared about it on X. Got listed on Binance. It's now been listed, I believe, on another couple of exchanges. So there has been a parabolic move. It doesn't mean that it can't go higher, of course, but at the moment, this would be one I would say to be very, very careful with, because it's, as you can see, this is a little bit, and look at this, the Tribal Trades indicator again, grabbing that wick there down, giving a beautiful momentum shift. And this is a momentum indicator. And we had some previously Fibonacci's, by the way, that I mapped out for the Tribal Trades Discord over the weekend, and it just blew through them all. And then I had to give them another range as this went up. And look at that beautifully at $1.99.50 there. So incredible trade for those that took the trade. You got to risk it for the biscuit. Scared money don't make money. And of course, using stop losses, we don't want to be dumb money either, because dumb money don't make money either. And we make sure that we aren't too greedy, that we take profits, close out trades, and that we make sure we trade with stop losses as well, because the trend is your friend until the end, and then you start a new trend. And also, I will be on pump.fun live streaming this week, most likely Wednesday. Stay tuned for that. There is a pump.fun link below in the description of this video that you can follow me, and of course, if so you don't miss out, that make sure that you come over and follow me, and also on pump.fun. The link below is in the description. That's all we have time for today. So until the next episode, or until I see you in the Discord, happy trading.